The Hidden Leaf Village basked in the golden glow of twilight, the towering Hokage monument casting long shadows over the bustling streets below. Naruto Uzumaki, the seventh Hokage, stood atop the monument, his bright orange cloak fluttering in the wind as he surveyed the village he had sworn to protect. The peace he had fought so hard to achieve felt fragile lately, like a thin layer of ice over a roaring river. Rumors had spread of strange disturbances in the fabric of time, missing ninja, ancient warriors reappearing, and whispers of a forgotten clan thought to be extinct. Naruto clenched his fists, his blue eyes narrowing. Something was coming, and he could feel it in his bones. Down in the training grounds, Boruto Uzumaki sparred with Sarada Uchiha, their movements a blur of speed and precision. Boruto's Rasengan collided with Sarada's Chidori, the resulting explosion sending shockwaves through the air. "You've gotten faster," Sarada remarked, adjusting her glasses with a smirk. Boruto grinned, wiping sweat from his brow. "Gotta keep up with the future Hokage, right?" Before they could resume, a deafening crack split the sky, and a swirling vortex of dark energy erupted near the village gates. From within its depths emerged figures clad in archaic armor, their eyes glowing with an eerie crimson light. At their lead stood a towering man with wild red hair, the unmistakable mark of the Uzumaki clan. Naruto landed beside Boruto and Sarada in an instant, his presence radiating power. "Who are you?" he demanded, his voice steady but edged with warning. The red-haired warrior smirked, his gaze locking onto Naruto with chilling recognition. "I am Ryujin Uzumaki, the last true heir of our clan." "You've grown soft, Naruto." The Uzumaki were meant to rule, not serve. With a flick of his wrist, Ryujin unleashed a barrage of sealing tags, each one humming with forbidden energy. Naruto reacted instantly, forming a massive Rasengan that shattered the tags mid-air. The explosion sent debris flying, but Naruto stood firm, his nine tails chakra flaring to life in a fiery aura. Boruto didn't hesitate. Activating his karma seal, he dashed forward, kunai in hand, aiming for Ryujin's flank. But one of the lost ninja intercepted him, a woman with silver hair and twin blades. "You're not ready for this fight, boy," she taunted, her swords weaving a deadly dance. Boruto barely dodged, feeling the wind from her strikes graze his skin. He countered with a shadow clone feint, landing a solid kick to her ribs, but she flipped mid-air, slashing downward. Sarada's Sharingan flared, predicting the attack, and she yanked Boruto back just in time. "Focus," she snapped. Boruto nodded, his resolve hardening. Together, they lunged, Boruto's Rasengan meeting Sarada's fireball jutsu in a combined assault that forced the silver-haired kunoichi back. Meanwhile, Naruto and Ryujin clashed in a whirlwind of blows, each strike shaking the ground beneath them. Ryujin's taijutsu was flawless, his movements honed by centuries of battle. He landed a vicious elbow to Naruto's ribs, followed by a knee to his gut, but Naruto tanked the hits, his durability unmatched. With a roar, Naruto unleashed a tailed beast bomb, the sphere of condensed chakra hurtling toward Ryujin. The Uzumaki leader smirked, weaving hand signs with impossible speed. Uzumaki forbidden art, time reversal. The tailed beast bomb froze mid-air before reversing course, forcing Naruto to leap aside as it detonated behind him. Boruto and Sarada regrouped, breathing heavily. "These guys are no joke," Boruto muttered. Sarada's Sharingan whirled as she analyzed their opponents. They're using jutsu from different eras, some even predate the founding of the villages. Before they could strategize further, the silver-haired kunoichi lunged again, her blades gleaming. Boruto activated his Jugen, his vision sharpening as he predicted her movements. He sidestepped, grabbing her wrist and flipping her over his shoulder. Sarada followed up with a lightning-infused punch, sending the kunoichi skidding across the ground. Naruto, sensing the tide of battle shifting, channeled Sage Mode, his pupils morphing into crosshairs. "This ends now," he declared, his voice resonating with power. Ryujin chuckled darkly. "You still don't understand, do you? We're not just relics of the past, we're the future." With a final hand sign, the vortex behind him expanded, and more figures stepped through, their chakra signatures overwhelming. Naruto's heart pounded. If they didn't stop this here, the entire world would be plunged into chaos. Boruto gritted his teeth, his karma seal spreading further. "Dad, we've got your back." Naruto glanced at his son, pride and determination flashing in his eyes. Together, the Uzumakis and their allies braced for the fight of their lives, the fate of the present hanging in the balance against the shadows of the past. The battlefield was a storm of dust and shattered earth as Naruto Uzumaki faced the rogue ninjas lost in time, their stolen power crackling in the air like lightning. His breath came fast, his muscles burning, but his blue eyes blazed with unyielding determination. Across from him, the leader of the time-lost warriors, a shadowy figure wielding a blade forged from forgotten chakra, smirked. "You're strong, Uzumaki, but not strong enough to rewrite fate." Naruto gritted his teeth, his fingers tightening around a kunai. "We'll see about that." The battle erupted anew. Naruto lunged, his body a golden blur as Kurama's chakra cloaked him in a swirling mantle of energy. The enemy ninja countered with a flicker of movement, his blade singing through the air as it clashed against Naruto's kunai. Sparks flew, and Naruto twisted midair, kicking off the blade to gain distance. He wasn't fast enough, the rogue ninja vanished, reappearing behind him with a slash aimed at his spine. Instinct screamed, and Naruto spun, barely blocking with a Rasengan that exploded on contact, sending both combatants skidding back. Across the battlefield, Sasuke Uchiha fought his own duel, his Sharingan tracking every micro-movement of his opponent, a woman with stolen Rinnegan eyes, her techniques warping space itself. She thrust her palm forward, and a black hole yawned open, threatening to swallow Sasuke whole. He didn't flinch. His left eye burned crimson as he activated the Amino Tejikara, swapping places with a nearby boulder an instant before the void consumed it. In the same motion, he hurled a barrage of shuriken laced with lightning chakra. She deflected them with a gravity shield, but the distraction was enough. Sasuke closed the gap, his Chidori screeching as he aimed for her heart. She barely twisted away, the lightning blade carving a searing line across her arm. Meanwhile, Sakura Haruno fought with brutal precision, her fists shattering the ground with every strike. Her opponent, a hulking warrior armored in relics of the past, laughed as he tanked her blows. "Your strength is impressive, but raw power won't save you." He swung a massive chain, the links glowing with cursed seals. Sakura dodged, but the chain twisted midair, wrapping around her ankle. The moment it touched her skin, her chakra flickered, drained. She gasped but didn't panic. With a roar, she channeled every ounce of her stored chakra into her fist and slammed it into the earth. The ground erupted, the shockwave snapping the chain and sending the warrior stumbling. Before he could recover, she was on him, her fist connecting with his jaw in a devastating uppercut that sent him airborne. Naruto, sensing his friend's struggles, knew they needed an edge. He reached deep, calling upon Kurama's full power. His cloak flared, tails of chakra lashing out as he entered his strongest form. The rogue leader's eyes widened. TCH. Always another trick. Naruto didn't waste words. He dashed forward, his speed now unmatched, and unleashed a flurry of Rasengans, each one larger, faster, more precise. The enemy blocked, dodged, countered, but the pressure was relentless. Then, in a split-second opening, Naruto feinted left before pivoting, his Rasengan morphing into a massive Rasen Shuriken. He hurled it. The leader barely raised his blade in defense, but the impact was catastrophic. The spinning vortex of wind chakra shredded through his weapon, then his armor, before detonating in a deafening explosion. But the fight wasn't over. From the smoke, the leader emerged, his body reforged with dark energy, his eyes hollow voids. "You forced me to use this. A power even time couldn't erase." The ground trembled as his aura swelled, reality itself warping around him. Naruto's stomach dropped. This was bad. Sasuke, sensing the shift, flashed to Naruto's side. "We end this together." Naruto nodded. No hesitation. Kurama's chakra intertwined with Sasuke's Susanoo, forming a towering, radiant warrior of blue and gold. The rogue leader laughed, raising his hands as a storm of black energy gathered above. "Let's see whose will breaks first." The final clash was a cataclysm. The Susanoo cloaked avatar lunged, its sword meeting the leader's dark blast in a collision that split the sky. For a moment, everything was light, pressure, sheer force, then silence. When the dust cleared, Naruto and Sasuke stood, battered but unbroken. The leader knelt, his body crumbling, his stolen power fading. Maybe time wasn't on my side after all. He dissolved into ash, the last whispers of his existence carried away by the wind. Breathing hard, Naruto turned to his comrades. Sakura grinned, wiping blood from her lip. "Took you too long enough." Sasuke scoffed, but there was relief in his eyes. The battle was won, for now. But as Naruto looked at the horizon, he knew deeper threats loomed. And they'd be ready. The air crackled with chakra as Naruto Uzumaki stood at the center of the battlefield, his ragged breath mingling with the dust of the ruined landscape. Around him, the lost ninjas of time, warriors pulled from forgotten eras, circled like wolves, their eyes gleaming with desperation and fury. The sky above swirled with unnatural storms, a testament to the distortions in time caused by their clash. This was the final stand, the moment where everything would be decided. Kurotsuchi, the last of the Uzumaki's allies, staggered to his side, her arm bleeding from a deep gash. "They're not backing down," she muttered, her voice hoarse. "They've got nothing left to lose." Naruto clenched his fists, his knuckles white. He knew she was right. These ninjas had been ripped from their own timelines, their destinies erased, and now they fought not for victory, but for vengeance against the world that had abandoned them. The leader of the Lost Ninjas, a rogue from the Warring States era, lunged first, his blade humming with cursed energy. Naruto barely dodged, the edge grazing his cheek as he pivoted, slamming a Rasengan into the man's ribs. The explosion of force sent the enemy skidding back, but he grinned through bloody teeth. "You're strong, Uzumaki, but you don't understand what it means to have your future stolen." His hands flew through seals, and the ground beneath Naruto erupted in black flames. Kurotsuchi intercepted, her Earth-style wall absorbing the worst of the attack, but the strain showed in her shaking limbs. Naruto didn't waste the opening, he charged, his body flickering with Kurama's chakra, a golden comet streaking across the battlefield. The Lost Ninjas moved as one, their coordination eerie, their attacks perfectly synchronized. A kunai grazed his thigh, a whip of lightning seared his shoulder, but he pushed through, his focus narrowing to the leader. Their fists collided, shock waves ripping through the air, and for a moment, time itself seemed to stutter. Naruto saw the man's eyes, not just anger, but grief. The realization hit him like a punch, these weren't just enemies. They were victims. "You don't have to do this," Naruto shouted, straining against the force of their clash. "We can fix this." The leader's face twisted. "Fix it? Time doesn't forgive, Uzumaki. It only takes." Then, the breakthrough came, not in strength, but in understanding. Naruto's Rasengan shimmered, its shape shifting, infused with the faint glow of Six Paths energy. He wasn't just fighting to win. He was fighting to save. The explosion of light engulfed them both, and when the dust cleared, the leader was on his knees, his weapon shattered. Around them, the other Lost Ninjas faltered, their resolve crumbling as the reality of their existence, trapped between eras, washed over them. Naruto extended a hand. "We'll find a way back for you. I promise." The leader stared at the offered hand, then let out a broken laugh. "You really are the last Uzumaki." With that, the distortions in the sky began to fade, the fabric of time stitching itself back together. One by one, the Lost Ninjas dissolved into light, their forms returning to the moments they'd been taken from. Silence fell. Kurotsuchi collapsed to her knees, exhaustion finally claiming her. Naruto stood amidst the ruins, his body aching, his heart heavy but hopeful. The battle was over, but the consequences would ripple outward. The timeline had been altered, histories rewritten. Somewhere, in a past that now existed differently, a young ninja might grow up without the shadow of war. A village might stand where it had once fallen. Kurotsuchi looked up at him, her expression unreadable. "You really think this changed anything?" Naruto smiled faintly. "It changed everything." Above them, the first clear sunrise in days broke through the clouds, casting long shadows across the battlefield. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in a long time, it was theirs to shape.